rather a little enclosed ball of spleen tissue. About them, it is self-enclosed and technically considered another organ, but because of its small size, it's not all that beneficial to have one or anything. It's just kind of there. Hey, I haven't seen you around before. You new on campus? Oh, yeah, I just got here a couple days ago. Well, hey man, welcome to UCLA. If you want, I can Randall Rock. It's a good show. He's my accessory. Do you listen to The Offspring? Is it talking to me? Do you listen to The Offspring? Oh, well, I mean, I used to when I was younger, not so much nowadays. Well, you're gonna go far, kid. I'm gonna go now. Do you think he got the reference? Yeah, Toby, I'm sure he did. Finally, we have fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. The only reason I'm including this one is because of something that happened in health class during my freshman year of high school. Our teacher was telling us all about how you should never drink during pregnancy. She also said that between 2 and 5% of people in the United States have some form of FASD. Then she goes, looking around the room, I do see a couple people that have the distinguishing facial features. I'm not going to name names. And then she just continued on with her lesson as if she didn't just drop a huge bombshell on all of us. So needless to say, this scared the shit out of me. Because although I consider myself a little bit on the intellectual side, for all I know, I could have been lined up for the next Einstein, and then my would-be genius brain just got Jaeger-bombed. So as soon as I got home, I pulled up a chart that showed all the distinguishing facial features for FASD and compared it in the mirror. Thankfully, my filter was distinct and my upper lip was plump, so I'm in the clear, as I know now. Statistically speaking, though, there's a good chance that at least a few of the moms and the people watching this video are not the angels that they make themselves out to be. So, you know, food for thought. There really is a curse, though, learning about this chart here, because the features are subtle enough that those who are affected still look normal to the average person. There really is a curse, though, learning about this chart here, because the features are subtle enough that those who are affected still look normal to the average person. Once you're on the lookout for that, you're on Facebook, your friend posts a picture of your kid, all the comments are like, oh my god, he's so cute, what a perfect little guy, and you're the only person there who knows otherwise. Anyway, that's all for today. Until next time, I'm
Every morning, Flynn wakes up.
Go away.
With brand new. No one. Doesn't.
I'm here to talk to Jack Cabot.
Oh, it's you.
No one. Doesn't.
I'm here to talk to Jack Cabot.
Oh, it's you.
Hey kids, I think we can all agree that there are a few
Let's go meet the
more
boss.
grotesque than competitive eating. The concept of a bunch of guys pushing their anatomy to its limits for sport leaves a bit in my mouth in more ways than one. But imagine if these men didn't adopt this habit just for fun. Imagine if some gross biological error forced them to eat like this for their entire...
Jack, the new guy is here.
One moment. We just have to...
He'll be right with us.
Clearly, I'll need to adjust the mixture. Hello. Welcome to Cabot House. I'm Jack Cabot.
What is this place?
This is my ancestral home. Lived here since long before the Great War. If you're asking what we're still doing here, with Boston in its current sad state, that's a story for another time, perhaps.
Edward said you needed to talk to me before...
Yes, Edward finds it tiresome. Please, have a seat. How about a drink? Edward, the good bourbon, eh? Now, before we get down to business, I have a question I like to ask all my new employees.
Is this really the time
Don't
for...
interrupt, Edward. The question is this. Do you...
The universe is a big place?
Wonderful. Most people's minds are too narrow to admit the possibilities of an infinite universe. But I'm not talking about flying saucers and little green men. I'm talking about the hidden history of our planet. The very origins of human civilization. Ancient powers that modern science, even at its pinnacle, could barely begin to comprehend. I'm sorry if I'm rattling on. I sometimes forget not everyone finds these things as compelling as I do. I'll leave you to Edward. He'll be your immediate... Welcome to the family.
Okay, you're officially hired.
I'm ready to get to work.
Good. But the job I got for you is Jack owns a facility north of the city. There's an important package that went missing between there and here. I need you to track it down and bring it back to me. Any questions?
Only about 1 million.
You should start at Parsons Station. We think the courier got ambushed as he was leaving the place. The guards heard gunfire in the distance, but we don't know exactly what happened. Check in with Maria at Parsons. You all set then?
I'm out of here.
Good luck.
Look alive.
Some of the craziest war tactics that actually worked. Hannibal of Carthage was famous for intimidating his Roman enemies through the use of war elephants. But the Romans eventually learned that elephants are afraid of squealing pigs. So they would lather pigs in tar and set them on fire, sending the enemy elephants fleeing in horror. A Chinese general with only 100 men once had to defend a town against 150,000 troops. So he told his men to hide, left the gates open, and sat on the walls playing aloof. Certain that it was a trap, the opposing general ordered a full retreat. One of the reasons why the plague was spread to Europe was because the Mongols literally sent it there. When they were trying to conquer the city of Kaffa, they would catapult infected bodies over the city walls. This was also one of the first historical accounts of biological warfare.
Look alive.
I've heard of another settlement that's in trouble. I'll mark it on your map. Go find out what they need.
What the hell are you watching? You're asleep, aren't you?
Why can't the Institute just leave us alone?
Gray! Go to bed. And stop watching whatever you're watching. It's annoying. That doesn't mean change it. Shut off your phone.
These are some of...
Slammed the fart, and unfortunately, I just got back. But slammed the fart, and unfortunately, I just got back. But
The fuck? Give me that. What the fuck? I'm gonna put this in my pussy. Get on the ground! Get it! What the?
But a naked girl, like a big whopper, and she's sitting in her doorway, walking through town, and she's like, here. You're like, what do you want, woman? And she's like, so you can come in and have supper at my place. And you're like, I'm a good Christian man with a wife at home. I can't be hanging around with strange women. And she's like, I ain't going to bite you, mister. And you're like, I don't know. But then all of a sudden, the rain starts coming, almost as if God himself is pushing you toward her doorway. So you go in, and she's sitting down, and she's got a hot meal. And it's been a long time for you've had a hot meal and a cold pillow. So you sit down, and she takes a napkin, tucks it into your collar. Now, it's been a long time before you felt the fingers of a woman, so you get mighty excited. Then, all of a sudden, her sisters come over. And you're like, how many sisters? One sister, two sisters, three sisters, five sisters come over. So you're like, oh my God, I gotta get out of here. The devil is tempting me. But then, all of a sudden, her clothes fall off. And you're like, what? How did that happen? A woman's clothes just fall right off her butt. You can put a naked girl. Get out of the ground! You can put a naked...
I wonder what this doe call sounds like to deer.
Do any folks want to come see my big broadside? I'm broadside. I'm looking for a buckaroo to come see my big broadside. I'm a buckaroo and I want to see your broadside. How big is your broadside? It's a huge broadside. It's huge? So please let me see your broadside. It's huge.
I wonder what this doe call sounds like to deer.
What's the video that lives in your head rent-free?
People who annoy you, okay? As always, we give you the letters R, T, S, L, and E. We just need 3 more consonants and a vowel. Get like a B, an N, and a G. And the vowel, please. Well, looks like you're gonna get a lot of help here. The category is people who annoy you. Audience, keep quiet. 10 seconds, Mr. Marsh.
I know it, but I don't think I should say it.
5 seconds, Mr. Marsh.
All right. Niggers!
There have been times when I would have sent a couple thousand bolts downrange by now, and my spotter, that G, whatever, would be handing me a new barrel to change out.
Yeah, I know, but for now we have to... what's the manual say?
It rhymes with maintenance.
Oh yeah, constantly maintain and upkeep equipment in order to prevent malfunctions in the field. The machinery can easily be disabled by ice or freeze up completely, like always. So a few of us, and by us, I mean me, are assigned to remain on board to check over the hardware for signs of damage due to ice buildup.
That's right.
And I act as a spotter for the gunners, when the situation demands it. Or for signs of damage due to ice buildup.
That's right.
And I act as a spotter for the gunners, when the situation demands it.
All right. That's not really why you're still up here.
Oh, well, why? What then?
Oh.
Eat out of ice.
There have been times when...
Pistols put holes in people. Rifles put holes through people. Shotguns at the right range with the right load will physically remove a chunk of shit off your opponent and throw that shit on the floor. Pistols put holes in people. Rifles put holes through. Shotguns at the right range with the right load will physically remove a chunk of...
Entire life. Introducing Terrare.
Terrare was born in France around 1772 to a poor farming family. It's said that his appetite was so voracious that, by his teens, Terrare could eat an entire quarter of a cow carcass in a single day. You'd think he'd be like mega obese, but no, he only weighed 100 pounds by age 17. However, there were still a few things that stood out about Terrare appearance. For one, he had a huge, stretched-out mouth with horribly stained teeth. He could reportedly fit 12 eggs in his cheeks at once, much like a chipmunk keeping its chipmunk eggs warm. Additionally, when Terrare was full, he'd get a crazy Octomom gut going, and any other time, he'd have a huge flap of stretched-out skin hanging around his waist. He also stank to high hell, even by 18th century French peasant standards. He was described as reeking, quote, to such a degree that he could not be endured within the distance of 20 paces. So between all this and his horrendous outhouse flooding dumps, his family had had enough. Alright, you're eating us out of house and home here. You gotta go, man. Me kick bricks, Froggy. Wow, he just called a French person a frog. That's so racist. No, it's not. They're all French. The guy just looks like a frog is all. Oh. Well, too late. I'm already offended. That's fair. Dislike. After leaving home, Terrare was forced to beg and steal just to satisfy his gargantuan appetite. Inevitably, I'm already offended. That's fair. Dislike. After leaving home, Terrare was forced to beg and steal just to satisfy his gargantuan appetite. Inevitably, people began to take notice of him, and eventually he landed a street performer in Paris. People would hand Terrare entire baskets of apples, eggs, and even wine corks, and watch in delight as he horked them down without the slightest hesitation. Normally, this went off without a hitch, except for one time when he suffered a severe intestinal blockage. Fortunately, the crowd was kind enough to carry him to the hospital, where he was treated with the strongest laxatives the 18th century had to offer. I would draw what happened next, but it would probably get my channel deleted, so let's just picture it for a few moments. Moving on, get my channel deleted, so let's just picture it for a few moments. Moving on. Cut to the year 1790 of the War of the First Coalition. Heard of it? Me neither. Who was in it? Fucking everyone. Anyway, Terrare decided to enlist in the war. After all, maybe that profound emptiness he was feeling was just a lack of purpose out. No, he really was just psychically hungry. Even after being granted quadruple rations, Terrare would still be through the trash pile whenever he got the chance. At extraction, he was still in Souterrain. The staff there was so dumbfounded by the man's ability to keep him there to run experiments, the first of which involved putting Terrare in a room with a meal prepared for 15 people.